Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Anime Night in the Dojo. Today's featured show, Skeleton Knight, Season 2.
Yep, Skeleton Knight, Season 2, Episode 6. Welcome back to the dojo. I'm Ryu. That's Age. We're back for more Anime Night in the dojo, and let's not forget the Ponta PSA from last week. It is critically important. Stop casting earth spells underground. Thank you.
I mean, to be fair, there are definitely earth spells that are safe. Like, once again, we were talking about freaking Arion's like petrification spell.
Yeah.
The problem is that like freaking Ark's go-to earth spell, the like rock thorns or whatever, is something that moves large amounts of earth. Because the whole thing is that it like pulls the earth from the environment and creates the big spikes out of them.
Yeah.
AKA, leaves massive fissures where the thorns used to be.
So, anyway, based on the episode title here, we're finally moving on to the quote-unquote main quest of Ark and his buddies, is going to the Dragon Spring, getting him uncursed. I can't imagine that's going to happen this episode. I imagine him getting fully uncursed is going to be something that happens much later in the story. Again, I don't know how far this goes. I don't know where the source material is at, so no idea. But if he randomly gets uncursed and goes back to human, I'd find that kind of weird this early into Season 2. You know what I mean? I could see him being human for like a little bit of the series, like the last like core or something. Maybe like the last half of the last season, whatever that ends up being. But hey, if it happens, then whatever. But yeah, just going based on the episode title, going back to that. And at some point, we got to get to the Shinobi Village stuff, which will probably be the rest of the second half of the season. So based on the episode title of next week, what we're getting to next week, we're finally getting to the Shinobi Village. But that's just meta knowledge. It's right there. Everybody can see it. It's nothing exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about this last time, but I assumed that, like, basically we're going to actually make it to the Dragonlands finally, but that's just going to immediately get waylaid and forced to leave again.
Yeah.
For some other random side quest.
Yeah, some whatever reason. But either way, I'm still baffled that, the summer season that we thought was going to be jam-packed is we're scrambling for other stuff to have every week because still no Tanya dub and still no Bleach dub. So those are probably just going to get pushed straight into fall. ReZero has started back up again. It came back on the 12th, and we are sitting here on the 23rd with the first two episodes of the second part of that. But no dub of that either. That was simul-dubbed for the first half of that. So I don't know what Kadokawa was doing. They were getting all kinds of flack for not promoting the second half of ReZero. Which, I mean, did people really forget in like 2 months? Like, that was what they put out there. You know what I mean? So it's not like, what Riot didn't do with 2XKO, apparently. I didn't know that game came out. That was apparently the consensus for most people. So, for ReZero's second core here, everybody knew it was only going to be like a 2-month hiatus. If you don't remember that, then I don't know what your problem is. That's nothing new and exciting. That's not hard to remember. That's not, we'll be back in 2 years and they didn't say anything. It was 2 months. That's not a big deal. You know what I mean? That should just be, hey, remember ReZero comes back in August. We even talked about that in like every episode that we did a couple months ago. So whatever. We'll get it back to ReZero when the dubs show back up. So that's just going to be kind of the wild card of we'll get ReZero done whenever it comes back.
So without looking at it too extensively, apparently there are 72 chapters of Skeleton Knight at the moment. And whatever this like Shinobi Village arc seems like it goes up to about like 64 or whatnot. So we're more or less caught up once the season's over.
Yeah, that's pretty much, I believe, what it was last time back in 22. So I don't think this author is, like the Gachikuta author or the Sakamoto Days author or any of the authors, some of the newer authors these days that are just cranking their stuff out in like 2 or 3 years and they're done. Hundreds of chapters and just blitzing through it like mad people. So that's totally fine. yeah, as long as it's good, you got to go at your own pace and don't want to burn out and stuff like that. So, Skeleton Knight is a solid series, and so. But either way, we're gonna push some buttons and see what's going on with this week. So, people on Patreon will see you on the other side of the edit for the time reaction, and people on YouTube Beyond will see you on the other side for the discussion and review. All the links to all the stuff we do are down there in the description. Check them out at your leisure if you so choose. We appreciate it. So, here goes something. Well, alrighty then, there you guys have it. Ark is not just gonna dip into the spring and be cured. You didn't think it would be that easy, did you? There's always gonna be some madness. So we started off with the hilarious, or not hilarious. There was a bit of hilarity with some of the like James Victory Bell stuff and the stuff that was going on in the journey, some of the like just random cliche tropey stuff, which this episode had a bunch of that stuff in between that and like the Kiss waking up Sleeping Beauty kind of stuff and whatnot, and the person wakes up before the person kisses them kind of nonsense. So we had all kinds of stuff. The hilarity, Chiome getting like schoolgirl face, that was great. These panoramic shots also great. Him being challenged by the Dragon Lord because he totally knew the dragon was sleeping underground. Absolutely. gotta love that. But as for this episode, it was fine. We progressed the story. We had more links to the past, kind of pushing us further toward more than likely, it was the original Hanzo kind of situation, just ever inching closer to that situation, that it was more than likely the original Hattori Hanzo, not like a super like ninja buff guy that just took the name and decided to be him in another world. But who knows? Maybe it was somebody who was playing a game like Ark and just timey-wimey nonsense and just kept that name because that was his avatar's name.
Yeah, we'll have to see. This did not confirm or deny, but it definitely imply more so that it was the original Hanzo.
Yeah.
But I mean, we were already suspecting Thanatos of being another Otherworlder, but the dragon does outright state that Otherworlders aren't actually that rare.
Yeah.
They're just not they're not common knowledge.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem to be common knowledge. It may be extraordinary individuals such as the dragon are aware of it. You know what I mean? Not even Arion's father or mother mentioned hey, are you an Otherworlder? Just offhand. You know what I mean? So
yeah, it's not common knowledge. Only older, more knowledgeable beings like the dragon know that Otherworlders exist, but apparently, according to him, Otherworlders aren't ultra rare or anything. That Otherworlders do just kind of come and go.
Yeah.
But that he says that Ark is particularly unique. And I believe the main reasoning there being that he probably is the only one who entered through a game.
Yeah.
And that's probably, I suspect that's a big proponent to his body situation. Because as the Dragon Lord was explaining it, I'm pretty sure that what the Dragon Lord was explaining is how Otherworlders normally work. Where their original body is in stasis somewhere, basically, and their soul is transferred into this world's body.
Yeah.
The problem is, Ark technically has 3 bodies. He has his original body in his original world. He has his game character's original body, and then he has this character's body in this world. So, and that's where things are kind of messing up, is that he's trying to recover his body, but it's going back one step to his game character's body, not his original body from his original world.
Yeah. So that's going to be a fairly interesting conundrum to see what kind of shenanigan is going to have to be pulled, because it's not like he can just... He would have to kind of explain it in a way that, let's say the head of the village here, the shinobi guy that we saw at the end there, if he has something to say about this. Like, whoever he has to explain it to, be it the dragon, him, whatever, it's like, listen, exactly what Age just said. There is like an intermediary based on this, like, um, like in season 1 when he mentions like the voice recorder, and Arion just kind of like, what does that mean? It's like, it's not like he can. It would take effort to explain like what a video game is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because like the whole thing here is, it seems like, from what was implied and what little knowledge we have of the other worlders, it seems like most other worlders are just more or less the equivalent of like strays from, like, say, Slime, where they're just people who randomly got isekai'd into this world.
Yeah.
Directly. But Ark has to now figure out how he has basically an intermediary world between him and this world, because it's in between this world and his original world. He has the game world as well.
Yeah. So it's definitely an interesting situation. So going forward, that's probably obviously going to be a thing that is going to be the next breadcrumb for what's going on, what people might be able to help him. We got a little bit of the politics there with we got the Empire here before. It was somewhere before the end there that the ruler of the Empire was being spoken to there by that advisor that we also saw in season 1.
Yeah, which that whole thing is basically just saying that this, like, theocracy's dragon controlling magic is just stolen tech from the Empire, and that they're not working with the Empire.
Yeah. So wherever that, I thought it was near the end, but you guys saw it.
I think it was closer to like midway through the episode.
Yeah. But yeah, there he is. Like I said, this guy's just been in resting Naofumi face from the last season of Shield Hero. But yeah, that we got a little bit more politics with that, which is what the show does, which is fine. It's not it's just the kind of reminder that, hey, this stuff is going on. Each nation is aware of what's going on, and that they were talking about, like, the theocracy that Thanatos heads, that kind of thing. That the other nations are aware of it. We obviously knew that this empire was going to be important at some point because they are like at the center of the slave trade and stuff like that. So got to keep that going. We don't want to forget about it, So
yeah, the main two things of note, really, well, three things of note, is apparently the core of the monster control technology is apparently the rune stones that were being mined. Not specifically just the ones that were being mined, but that was the main reason why they were mining it, is apparently that's like the core of the technology, is it needs the rune stones to power it. That Thanatos' theocracy is not aligned with the Empire. And that apparently their primary focus at the moment is there's a southern continent that we didn't know about that they're currently prioritizing, influencing.
Yep. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But yeah, going forward, we'll just have to see what the next step is here. Obviously, the shinobi stuff. We got that bit there at the end with Donka being attacked by somebody who looks suspiciously like what we assume is like Chiyome's brother or something from the ED. So we'll just have to see what the deal is with that. It could be some sort of political move. Who knows what? Any myriad of character archetypes that we've probably seen before, but let's face it, full on Simpsons did it. As long as it's entertaining and fine, then it doesn't really matter that it's probably been done before, because let's face it, nothing's like super original anymore. You know what I mean? It's just how it is. So I'll be interested to see what archetype his character is and what his deal is.
Yeah, it's like we don't know anything about him or what his actual relation to the shinobi village is, or Chiyome. Like, he could be like exiled for something, for all we know.
Yeah.
But also the beast folk and the elves aren't like in an alliance together or anything like that. The only real like camaraderie they have with each other is the fact that they're both being persecuted by the humans.
Yeah.
But they have no like official allegiance to each other.
Right. But either way, another solid episode for the story. Like I said, I would have been surprised if he just, was cured and there wasn't some sort of shenanigan this early in the series, technically. So
yeah, I mean, once again, I'm assuming that the whole body thing is something that, like, while it probably wasn't like a major concern for every Otherworlder, because they probably didn't have any sort of like major repercussions to having their soul being in a different body kind of thing, the way Arc is. But that is just a normal thing for Otherworlders because of the fact that the dragon knows about it as like a thing. And because of the fact that the whole thing with the shrine and hidden village here and stuff like that is Hanzo came here for a reason.
Yeah.
He probably also sought out the spring for the same reason, to try to solve his body situation, but it didn't work for him either.
Yeah. So, anyway, not really a huge amount to say about this one. Again, it was another solid episode. It had the comedic bits and stuff like that. That was great. Further the story, further the political stuff again, and more Skeletonite. But I believe that once we get into the Shinobi Village stuff, whatever's going on here, the rest of the season here, starting next time, obviously based on the next episode title, that's where the very interesting bits will happen. Not saying that the first half of the season wasn't fine. It was totally fine. It was just more Skeletonite and more side quest stuff. That's what this is. It's side quest, the anime, pretty much. You know what I mean? So at least for the moment, so it will be interesting to see where it goes from here. But totally fine. It'll be interesting to see what this elder has to say, that kind of thing. So, yeah.
Yeah. From what little I very briefly glanced at the source material to kind of get an evaluation of it, this Shinobi arc seemed like that's a fairly big arc, like the biggest arc of the series so far, which, I mean, so far, we've yet to have an arc last more than like 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah, so if this ends up being the last 5 episodes, then that would make sense. You know what I mean? Most of the stuff in season 1 was one-offs, or those couple that were 2. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So, yeah. But that's all I got for this one. Not super long, but not really a huge amount to go on about. Really speculate on stuff that we've talked about already before. We just kind of have to see the Otherworlder stuff being confirmed by the dragon is cool, and it will be interesting to see who's aware of it. Because once again, if Arion's parents, who have been around for several hundred years and are village elders, didn't bring it up, you would think if they knew about it, they would have at least just eyebrow raised and just said, "Hey, are you an Otherworlder?" That kind of thing. Because usually that's what leadership would do if they were aware of something like that. You know what I mean? Just out of curiosity. That kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, once again, to use the other show we've been watching that also has a lot of that exact situation as Slime. Freaking the moment Maribel started being any sort of suspicious and seeming to have some weird manifested power, Granville immediately eyebrow raised her like, "You're an Otherworlder, aren't you?" Yeah. Of course, she lied to him about it, but that was his immediate response to suspicious child is, "You're an Otherworlder, aren't you?"
Yeah. So, either way, again, another solid episode. Enjoying it. It'll be interesting to see what the second half of the season entails and what happens. But I appreciated everything about this episode. It was solid. It'll be interesting to see what goes on from here. How Ariane comes to terms with obviously her feelings for Arc. They've been already pushing that kind of stuff with her sister, and then this episode and all that kind of stuff. So Panta being the relationship coach is pretty hilarious, by the way. That's just we all know what Panta was saying without her having to have actual baselines. So that is what it is. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, people of YouTube beyond, however you're watching, as always, we appreciate you stopping by and hanging with us here in the dojo for more Anime Night in the Dojo. And this was Skeleton Knight, Season 2, Episode 6. So have a good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it is for you. Have a good one. See you next time.
Hello again, everyone. Victoria here. Don't forget about those like and subscribe buttons. Your support is always appreciated. Thanks again for your time, and we look forward to seeing you again in the future.